Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm here to talk about something that is a very crucial element when it comes to professional wrestling, but somehow always gets overlooked when people are talking about the business: entrance music. I know some of you out there might think it a little silly that I'm making an entire video about this one aspect of wrestling. But if you spend enough time watching the product, you'll quickly realize just how important the right theme song can be. Without the proper tune to accompany their walk to the ring, it could make all the difference in terms of getting the crowd invested in what they were about to see. His theme perfectly captured the rebellious and establishment attitude that made him such a beloved figure in the late 90s. If you grew up watching WWE in the early 2000s, you were introduced to one of the greatest luchadors of all time. His entrance was so badass. In the 90s, it made him seem like a legitimate threat. Cesaro, during his time in WWE, Cesaro was arguably the most talented in-ring performer, but he just never got the same level of popularity as some of the other guys. Sure, he had some decent runs with the United States and Tag Team Championships, but he was never really pushed to the top of the card. Heath was a solid performer who had a lot of potential, but his theme song, Slater's Gonna Do It, was just awful. I know what you're thinking. Why is he on this list? He had a great entrance theme. Well, yes, it was great, but it wasn't necessarily for the right reasons. Mabel's theme, King Kong Pimp by Sir Mix-a-Lot, was actually a parody of the classic King Kong theme. But instead of being just a fun nod to the original, Sir Mix-a-Lot decided to make it a full-on rap song about King Kong going on a rampage in New York City. And to say it was weird would be an understatement. But in the most glorious way possible, Mabel's entrance was like nothing we had ever seen before or since. And it was a true spectacle. Although Mabel's run in WWE didn't last that long, his entrance will forever be burned into the minds of anyone who witnessed it. The beat was generic, and the lyrics made no sense. If you think I missed any obvious ones, leave them in the comments section below. And as always, if you want to support the channel, go ahead and drop a like on this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. To make matters worse, he was usually coming out to face off against guys like John Cena, Randy Orton, and Brock Lesnar. So the crowd was already biased against him. If WWE would have given Heath a better entrance theme, I think he would have connected more with the audience and possibly become a top guy. But unfortunately, that never happened. And we were stuck listening to Slater's Gonna Do It for years. A big reason for this was his lame entrance theme, Swag and a Prayer. Now don't get me wrong, the beat isn't bad, and it did grow on me after a while. But when you compare it to some of the other themes on this list, it just doesn't hold a candle. I feel like if WWE would have given Cesaro a more badass, intimidating theme, he could have been a true main eventer. But unfortunately, that never happened, and I'll always wonder what could have been. And once that theme started playing, you knew DDP was about to enter the ring and stun somebody with a diamond cutter. And for this spot, we have Darren Young's My Time Has Come. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I love the fact that he came out with a choir behind him. It gave his entrance a sense of grandeur, but the song itself was just terrible. The lyrics were cheesy and didn't really fit his character. The beat was just plain boring. I don't think this song did anything to help Darren Young's career. In fact, I think it hurt him. Thankfully, Darren Young has found success outside of WWE, but if he ever returns, hopefully he'll have a better entrance than this. Personally, I remember watching WCW Nitro as a kid and being blown away by the pyrotechnics every time DDP came out. It didn't matter who he was facing off against. Whether it was a member of the Four Horsemen or Hulk Hogan, when Scott Winger's bang hit, the crowd went crazy. Sadly, DDP had to retire due to injuries, but at least he'll always have one of the coolest entrance themes in wrestling history. And what made Rey Mysterio so special was his ability to connect with fans all over the world. It didn't matter if you were in Mexico, Japan, or the United States. When Rey's theme hit, the crowd went absolutely bonkers. Boo Ja by the legendary Jim Johnston is easily one of the most upbeat and high-energy themes in wrestling history, which matched Rey's high-flying lucha libre style perfectly. This song made you want to get up and dance. And trust me, you couldn't help but dance along when it played. Sadly, Rey Mysterio is no longer with WWE, but hopefully one day he'll return and bring back one of the most electrifying entrances in wrestling history. I Walk Alone by R.A. the Rugged Man. It's one of the greatest entrance songs ever because of how it perfectly blended with Stone Cold-esque character. There was never a dull moment when he came out to face off against the likes of the Hart Foundation, Triple H, or Mr. McMahon. And that's all thanks to that glass-shattering guitar riff that still gives me goosebumps to this day. Like The Undertaker, Stone Cold has also hung up his wrestling boots, but his entrance lives on through the WWE Network. In fact, anytime they replay one of his classics on the network, I guarantee you that glass shattering is still one of the loudest parts of the whole show. Think about some of the biggest stars in wrestling history: Hulk Hogan, The Rock, John Cena, Steve Austin, The Undertaker. What was the first thing that got the crowd hyped for their matches? Was it their flashy attire? Was it their signature moves? No, it was the iconic tunes that blared through the arena. As soon as they stepped foot into the building, in fact, I would argue that a good entrance theme is one of the most crucial elements in setting up a superstar. No matter who they are or what gimmick they have, a great entrance can turn any match into a main event. As soon as those opening bell tolls rang out, followed by the iconic gong sound effect, you knew something special was about to take place. The Dead Man was one of the most feared competitors in all of sports entertainment, and his presence was established immediately thanks to his phenomenal theme song. To this day, there isn't a more recognizable entrance in wrestling history. It didn't matter where The Undertaker competed, whether it was WWE, WCW, Japan, or even the Indies. When he came through those curtain ropes, the crowd was always dead silent. And then the second the lights went down and that gong hit, the arena erupted. Even though The Undertaker has retired now, his legacy will live on forever, and so will his unforgettable entrance. So with that said, let's take a look at some wrestlers who have benefited greatly from having amazing entrance music, as well as some whose careers could have been a lot better had they had a better theme. You ready? Let's go. Yes. A wrestler's theme song is like their personal brand. It's what they're known for. Kicking things off, we have one of the greatest entrances of all time, The Undertaker's Rest in Peace by WWE Hall of Famer Howard Finkel. Another legendary performer with an iconic theme is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Moving on, let's talk about a modern-day legend, Rey Mysterio. Now let's shift our attention to someone who is never the greatest wrestler in the world, but certainly had one of the best themes, Diamond Dallas Page. Next up, let's talk about someone who had the potential to be a top star in WWE, but somehow never reached the heights that many people expected. Speaking of WWE, let's take a look at one of the worst entrance themes ever. Now let's take a look at another WWE superstar who had a terrible entrance theme, Heath Slater. Last but not least, let's talk about one of the most unique entrances in wrestling history, the debut of Mabel at King of the Ring 1995. Well, that's it for this list, folks. Hope you enjoyed my ode to one of the most overlooked aspects of professional wrestling, entrance music.